this is a really subtle, low-key way to let people know that you support the channel. I mean, at the gym, nobody even notices. If anyone in your life can read Chinese, then you got Chun Su Ju Yi going from top to bottom, right? You got à-bas-le-ciel, and when people, get up in your face, even if they have no idea what à-bas-le-ciel says, if they can't read French or they can't guess, it actually says there in fine text, the vegan demi-monde. So different people react. It is a T-shirt that gets a lot of attention. We went through 2 printings. This is the second printing because I'm a perfectionist. The first printing was too low on the chest and also not wide enough. Yeah. So I made them go back and do it a second time. Yeah, this is closer to the collar, and it really. So even on my size, I'm actually wearing a medium because I like it clingy.
Yeah.
And anyway,
I'm
but
wearing a small.
She is wearing a small,
which. I'm a small person, so it's a little...
Yeah, that's true. But on me too.
Boxy,
you know what? So I have not been to the gym yet today, but I gotta say, when I was sitting here in front of the camera, I was like, well, I can tell I've not been to the gym. The medium even is not that tight on me, and I've been going to the gym a lot lately. So maybe I should switch to wearing small also. I don't know. But with the largest size we got, it's a bit of a boxy fit, and it's extra boxy when you still got it brand new with the starch. Yeah. This is extra large. We went up only to extra large. There is no extra large. Yeah, you can tell relative to the size of the screen.
You could wear that as a dress. So
that's true.
If you're crafty,
that's true.
You can make an extra large into a dress.
Right, and guys, we did this old school. This is not printed from a website. This is not like, you click on. We have 100 T-shirts in stacks like this inside the apartment right now. Yeah. But the reason why we're posting this video, first, to talk a little bit about why I made the T-shirts at all, how this links into my past, present, and future mandate here on YouTube. But secondly, in just a couple of days, we are flying to Los Angeles, California. Mm-hmm. So we're giving these T-shirts away for free, which will probably be obvious to you from the title of this video. If you're within the United States and we ship them within the United States, then it's going to probably cost you $3, like maybe less. Shipping is done by weight, so I assume a T-shirt weighs less than 200 grams. We'll find out the hard way. But even if I ship from Canada to the United States, like it could be $5 or $6. I'm just looking at the chart from the post office, but it'll be very, very little money. We are not charging a single dime towards the cost of the printing or the cost of the T-shirt itself. It is a free T-shirt. It is indeed my way to say thank you. It is my way to express, gratitude for the positive role that my supporters have had in my life. I mean, YouTube, it's had its ups and downs, but it's meant a lot to me. Brought Melissa into my life, brought a lot of positive things in my life. Brought a lot of negative things into my life and disappointment. But I mean, notably, you guys already know, at one point I was looking at a court case in Thailand, and people, stood up and donated $6,500 with no expectation of a free T-shirt or anything else coming back to them. I raised $6,500 in about one day. It was a little bit over 24 hours that those donations came in. I've been able to lead a much more intellectually rewarding life through YouTube than my own professors have at the university. And, some of my own professors, they tried to start their own Twitter accounts and tried to start publishing on one of these, platform like minds.com, where there are these different kind of more intellectually pretentious platforms than YouTube. I've seen different people trying to cope with the 21st century agora in different ways, the marketplace of ideas. And, it's a struggle. But, I mean, even when I have a video that goes up that gets like 500 views, I do feel grateful for that. She lives with me. She hears me say it all the time. I'll upload a video and there's no hook. You know what I mean? It's not like, like when I do a video criticizing Joe Rogan, obviously you're going to get some people coming over because they're interested in criticism of Joe Rogan. That's a hook. I do a video about the fat-phobic, fat-shaming versus body positivity topic. Obviously there's a hook that's going to bring in people who aren't regulars to my channel. But sometimes I upload a video that just says, like, my university is crap, and I'm pissed off about it. I'm disappointed with course at my university. And, 500 people take the time to listen to what I've got to say, and I do get emails back and messages back from Patreon supporters and people telling me, that it's meaningful for them. I really am grateful for that. And me printing these T-shirts is, in a material sense, in a tangible sense, my first opportunity to give something back to the viewers. I mean, at different points, people actually used to recommend that I send out the scarves I wear if I was still living in Cambodia. It's hard for me. I'm short on scarves. When we go to Los Angeles, I should try to buy some new scarves. It's not easy for me to get scarves. They're like, oh, you wear the scarves all the time. Send out the scarves for supporters of the channel. But anyway, no. Currently, it's a T-shirt, not a scarf. the total amount of money, this was mentioned in passing another video. So I mentioned that when I have a successful video, it generates $1 in YouTube revenue. So that's a video that gets about 5,000 views, which for me is a smash hit video. And actually, this tracks pretty closely to the lifetime earnings for this channel on YouTube, because I've had over 900 videos, and the total amount of revenue generated from this channel all time was just over $900. I think it was $960 or $970. And I finally got that in a check from YouTube after we got back to Canada from living in China for 2 years.
And you've been on YouTube for over 4 years.
Yes, that is true. No, I mean in terms of building up your fan base. I mean, your audience has to find you. You have to find your audience. There's a lot that goes into it. And financially, there is very little that comes out of it. That's fine. Anyone who's in this for the money is nuts. But nevertheless, I got a check for $1,000, which is the accumulated labor of 4 years, if you want to look at it that way. Yeah. Or you might say it's a minor byproduct of a hobby. I mean, it's nice that this earns money rather than costs me money. I don't know. If I'd have to pay $1,000, would I still do it instead of earning $1,000? It's a good question. But anyway, there's this small amount of revenue over 4 years that built up. And I was looking at that. What I'm really burdened with is the awareness that my earnings are not remotely enough to do the things that I would like to do in terms of taking this channel forward next step. I would like to do, some of you guys heard me talking about this, IRL, I wanted to organize a conference. So I want to do a conference in Vancouver talking specifically about pragmatism. What is pragmatism? Really, it's an answer to the reducitarian conference idea. This is the anti-reducitarian conference, where you say, what does it mean to be pragmatic? Let's take forward this discourse about the meaning of the word pragmatic, about pragmatism, because I don't think that this kind of compromise is pragmatic. And you have contrasting views, and maybe other people would talk about other kinds of compromises that are pragmatic. My girlfriend's heard all this stuff from me a million times before. You're not going to... To me, pragmatism is not selling out your fundamental principles, right? But still, there are all kinds of really pragmatic questions to be asked and answered about what we're going to do moving veganism forward in the future. So I'd love to do that. The main reason why that happened was actually not financial. It was lack of legitimate participants. I got on Skype. I got on the horn, as people used to say, with the list of people I had who could possibly participate. And let me tell you, I'm more than a little bit disappointed in my contemporaries. If I did this conference, it would be like a one-man show. I might as well do stand-up comedy, and some of you guys will know I'm not joking when I talk about the real possibility. I'm going to spin off from this channel another separate channel that's just doing politics, and that may be more like Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is a stand-up comedian who now does politics, and I may start doing IRL, real-life stand-up comedy on stage, branching out from the channel those ways, because that's something I can do alone. And 4 years into this game, I've had to learn the hard way. Whatever activism I'm going to do, whatever I'm doing for the future of the vegan movement, I've got to do all alone. Let me be clear, people. I'm not lonely. I'm not lonely. I'm not lonely, but I'm alone. I do have Melissa's undying support. I do. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean? I mean, in terms of putting together that conference, I should have been able to bring in people from a variety of backgrounds with experience in vegan activism, etc. And I couldn't, and I didn't, and I won't. But I thought I'd commit the time and money to that, especially at this peculiar time in our lives before we go to college. Most of you already know this. We're going to baking college to learn how to bake, and we're engaging with baking as part of our own future engagement with vegan activism to have a platform for, the food-based business side of the future of veganism and to be involved in vegan activism. But aside from that, the other big failure that this free t-shirt promotion is very much in the shadow of was the illustrated storybook concept. So how long? For like 2 years? Something like that. I was trying to get this storybook illustrated and published. And part of the opportunity there was the death of my biological father. He told me before he died that he was going to leave me a significant amount of cash. He had 9 kids. 9. So his inheritance was spread out very thin across the board, and he lived a remarkable life in which he did all the things he wanted to do, and he spent all the money he earned, which is certainly his right. So there was, in fact, much less for me to inherit than I think he had imagined. In U.S. dollars, I got about $20,000, and when I was looking at that, I was looking at the enormous costs ahead of me, leaving China, moving back to Canada, etc., it was obvious I was not going to get the storybook published. And I'm sorry, but the other brutal reality is this relates to the low levels of support on Patreon. If I were getting, say, $400 a month on Patreon, that book would already be published by now with absolutely no problem and no hesitation on my part. That would completely do it. I'm getting about $100 a month on Patreon. What our internet bill is like $70 a month. $70 Canadian. I should know. Canadian dollars are worth a lot less than US dollars right now. But, simply there isn't enough Patreon support for me to move forward with that. There's not enough support from any source. And the first artist we worked with, past tense, completely finked out and let us down. I put a lot of time and energy into that. We wrote it the full contract. I was willing to pay her to move forward with it. But long story short, she was actually not even capable of doing the illustration. She made a lot of weird excuses talking about her anxiety and what have you. But the reality was she couldn't, for example, draw a human figure with correct proportions. She couldn't draw a view of the scenery, with a horizon, with, the correct effect of the horizon of things being in proportion. This came to a horizon. She couldn't do a landscape drawing. There were a lot of things she just couldn't do. So this was the first artist we worked with. We did talk to other artists since then, but financially, it turned out, like, I wasn't expecting a ton of money. If I had inherited, say, $50,000, I would have been enough for me to press ahead with that. And that, again, would have been a way for me to give back to my viewers, where I'd be able to say, hey, people can sign up and get a free book or maybe a book for the cost of postage and handling, whatever. Right. I was hoping that book would really be the way for me to reach out and give back to the people who supported me and supported this channel. And that's not going to happen. So, yeah, I am very disappointed with that. So many people have told me that book impacted them deeply, including meat eaters. But, like, the emotional impact of that book on people, including a lot of Chinese people, is enormous. I know that the script for that book is way the hell better than the other, children's books, preaching veganism, including those published by Casey Taft, my old nemesis. There's a lot of really weak books in that category. This is one that could have made a positive impact on a lot of people's lives. I've already seen that, and we had a long list of people step up to translate it. Now been translated into German, Russian, well, of course, original language, Chinese, Japanese, Dutch, etc., etc. But it seemed like there was no way forward. So for now, the simple message of this video is, thank you guys for supporting the channel. It means a lot to me. Unfortunately, the support for the channel is not enough for me to move forward, either with the conference idea, which I would have loved to do, or with publishing the children's storybook idea. But what it is enough for me to do is to send you this free t-shirt in the mail. If you act now, so what? Small, medium, large, extra large, and that's it. No extra, extra large. We were assuming my viewers were relatively slim. Maybe I'm wrong. And it is a pretty big boxy fit, as we were joking around at the beginning. Yeah. If you're in the USA, contact me absolutely ASAP through Patreon messages or through emails, and we'll get this set up. If not, if you get back to me a month from now, it probably won't be that big a deal. But then we're going to deal with shipping from Canada and, the minor miscellaneous problems you get when something crosses the border. And when you're, you could get hit up with fees because I'm going to write down it's free, it's being sent for free. But they might impose taxes on it with the assumption it's worth $20 or something. Things like that happening when you're exporting from Canada to the United States, even if you're exporting something that you claim is of absolutely zero value. Hit me up.